Hi, everybody. It's Dr. D, your instructor for the 693 research course. And I'm actually in between Zooms with many of you right now who've made appointments for your required check-in. And I wanted to update you because many of you have either written on the discussion board or we've talked about it in our Zoom over the past week that your problem of practice may have changed slightly or may not be relevant or applicable to the class or school where you're currently working, and that's okay. So when I do meet with you for your check-in, what we'll do is talk about what you wrote over the spring and summer, what we can keep of that, and what we might be able to tweak so that it is more applicable to your student teaching in the spring. The other thing I know is that some of you may not know which grade level you're working with in the spring, and that's okay. So what I've recommended for many folks who now are at that point in the assignment kind of schedule that you're looking for 2 articles this week, you may have to pump the brakes a little bit. And I'm going to leave that assignment open for the next 2 or 3 weeks so that if you are still kind of thinking about your problem of practice, you're not sure, what I'd like you to do is talk to whoever it is that you're connected with as your current mentor teacher. It may not be the same person that you're student teaching with. Some of you may know the teacher you're student teaching with. Do a little sniffing around and digging on more global issues related to data in the content area you're thinking about. For example, you may be in an elementary school and you may find out that there are issues with reading comprehension or decoding in general across many of the grade levels in early elementary. Then you can tweak your problem of practice toward that issue. Look for relevant articles so that when you come in the fall, when you come into the student teaching in the spring, you've got some research under your belt that gives you a menu of strategies you think you may choose from when you actually work with the students who are in front of you. The same could work in secondary. For example, I was just talking to someone who's in a secondary school and they are a math content teacher. And they know that more globally within the high school they're working, one of the main problems is that students in general don't have a good sense of verbal reasoning skills. They've pulled from the NCTM standards to anchor their problem of practice more globally around verbal reasoning in secondary math. That literature review will be applicable and helpful to them regardless of the students they're working with more specifically in spring, because they know overall that all students will need support with verbal reasoning and mathematics. So if you don't know your problem of practice yet, in regards to what you wrote in the summer and how it would fit in the fall, and you need to do some tweaking, I recommend that your first step before looking up articles that won't help you is to find someone in your building that can help you get some insight onto the common problems in the content area where you're doing your research. Then come to me with an email and say, I looked around, I found out that most students are going to need help with verbal reasoning and mathematics, to use the same example. And we'll email one another. I'll say, great, now let's look those things up. Here are some search terms you might use in EBSCO or Google Scholar or any of the websites that were recommended by Arnold Library for your research. And let's find 2 articles that fit. And we're going to chunk it. Then in a few weeks, we'll look for 2 more and you're going to annotate those. And then lastly, we'll look for 2 more and we'll annotate those. I've scaffolded and chunked the assignment so that by the end of class, you're going to have 6 annotated articles that you can very easily write into a brief literature review where you go back and kind of expand on those annotations, put it into a more formal paper format, and write your literature review a little more fleshed out. And you've got this well-researched instruction, research-based instruction that helps inform your decision-making in spring. I'm going to be your advisor in spring as well. So we've got some flexibility in the timeline here and in making the adjustments around your deadlines for this semester. I'm requiring 1 check-in, but I'm here for you to have as many check-ins as you need as you kind of troubleshoot and try to figure out what specifically could my problem of practice be, what literature do I need, so that by the end of the semester, you can turn in a literature review to me during finals week. I hope that helps you rest assured a little more about the pace of assignments, my expectations, The fact that there may not be an exact match now, but we're going to give you some time to find it. And here's the other piece that's really important. With that literature review that you will use to inform your instruction in spring, the only thing you're doing in spring is reporting out what happened. I'm not going to look and say, did you use the exact strategy from your literature review and were you successful? Did all of your kids achieve? That's not the point of the project. The point of the project is, were you able to find a relevant topic based on the data and needs of your students? Did you research the appropriate literature that would help you make an informed decision? And with that informed decision, when you tried it out as a student teacher, what exactly happened? It may not have worked. You may have picked a strategy that goes for 6 weeks and it ends up not working, and that's okay. You're simply reporting out in your final research project what exactly happened when you tried research-informed instruction. Some of you may have great success and say, wow, that strategy was amazing, here's the data. Regardless of the outcome, the things I want to see are the fact that you can determine a problem of practice, find literature that's appropriate to match it, and make an informed decision as a teacher, and then share out at the end of the semester in the spring. I think that helps kind of ease your mind a bit. But again, as we meet in your check-in, we can talk more specifically about your issue. Again, I'm extending the deadline for this module, which asks for 2 academic peer-reviewed articles that match your problem of practice. If you're stalled on that, don't worry. You've got until Friday, 10/1, to email me and let me know what you found out in your school. And then from there, we can tweak it, we can modify it, we can meet again, or we can just speak via email to help you get focused on the first 2 articles you're going to need to work on your literature review. I hope that this video helped make a little more sense and ease your peace of mind on the project and the assignments coming up. And I look forward to meeting with each of you individually over the next couple of weeks, as many of you have already signed up and filled the slots. Please do email me if you need a time adjustment outside of those that I have available, and I will make the time for you. I hope you're having a great week, and I look forward to talking with each of you very soon.